Hi, my name is Travis Torme. I'm a criminal defense lawyer in New Jersey. This video is about marijuana offenses, other drug charges, and how I defend against these cases. Many times individuals consent to a search of their vehicle. They're scared, and they often do what the officer asks them to do. However, this does not mean your case is over. Here's a video about how I recently represented someone on a consent search and was able to get the charges dismissed. I also have a number of other ways how I combat marijuana offenses in New Jersey, and I'll tell you about those at the end of this video.
A second potential exception to the warrant requirement, a valid warrantless search, is consent. Officer pulls you over for speeding, comes up to your driver's side window, says he smells marijuana. Asks you if you consent to a search of your vehicle. It's important to remember a couple of things in New Jersey. In New Jersey, for the consent to be valid, it has to be knowing and voluntary. First of all, it has to be a voluntary consent, obviously. Secondly, you have to know that you have the right to refuse to the consent to the search.
This means that if an officer doesn't tell you specifically that you can refuse to consent to a search of your vehicle, then the consent is invalid. He has to make it very clear that you're allowed to refuse to consent.
Let me give you an example. I recently represented a client in Morris Plains Municipal Court in Morris County. He was charged with possession of marijuana under 50 grams. When I got the discovery is all the evidence the state has and intends to rely upon to prove the charges against you. Police reports, videos, any audio, lab reports, they have to send the marijuana to the state police lab for testing, etc., etc. When I got the discovery, it became very evident to me that this was not a lawful, legal, or valid search. My client did not consent until after about a half an hour or 40 minutes of badgering from law enforcement officers. Actually, multiple law enforcement officers. He asked for a lawyer multiple times, at least 3 times over the half an hour period, and denied consent, said, no, I'm not letting you search my car, at least 15 times over the half an hour period. When I got the discovery, I saw the video, I filed a motion to suppress immediately. The consent that my client allegedly gave after the half an hour or 45 minutes of badgering from law enforcement was not valid. It was not voluntary consent. He was coerced and essentially forced into giving consent because they wouldn't let him leave if he didn't consent to a search of his vehicle. As a result, I filed a motion to suppress. The prosecutor took a look at my motion, took a look at the evidence in the case. We conferenced the case with the judge, and the prosecutor did not oppose my motion, and all the charges were dropped against my client.
If you want to hear about any of the 5 ways I typically challenge a marijuana case in New Jersey, or about the 2 diversionary programs you may be eligible for, click the links below in the video description box, or you can visit my website for my contact information, and I'm happy to talk to you about your case.